How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Chaos Child. We are presented with a very angry Kawahara. Kawahara is just not happy with anything that's been going on. It's totally understandable. The lad confessed his feelings to someone who isn't even around anymore. I hope you guys have also watched the last two episodes, because I kind of just dropped a spoiler there. The person that we've been knowing as Kirisu Nono, well, that's not actually Kirisu Nono. That is Minamisawa Senri. Apparently, it wasn't Senri that died during the earthquake. It was Kirisu. And Senri's wish was to become Kirisu. And that is exactly what happened. She avoided the torture that was bound to occur, but she lived a life full of lies despite not ever wanting people around her, her family, to keep secrets or to lie. Ironic. But anyways, let us continue on. It is 12:30 in the morning. Yes, the morning. And I have class later, so let's get the show on the road. Kawahara saw me, his face tensed up as he approached.
Kawahara-kun, どうしてここ?
Uh-oh. He suddenly grabbed me by the collar and slammed me into the wall.
いきなり何よ?
どういうことだ?
どういう?
とぼけるな。クルスがいなくなったってのはどういうことだって聞いてるんだ。
どうしてそれを?
さっきお前の家に。そんなことはどうだっていい。
Wait, why did he go there?
クルスはどこへ行ったんだ?
He had probably gone to the apartment and gotten it out of Yuto or Yamazoe. I was worried that he might have scared Yuto, but he pulled tighter on my collar and I couldn't speak.
宮代、お前、この前俺が言ったことを覚えてるよな。
I actually don't remember since, again, it's been like another couple or so days. I've been trying to spread my recording sessions out since I've been recording this too often, and therefore jumping ahead of what I'm uploading, if that makes any sense. And I want to read the damn comments, before I continue on. So therefore, I have no idea what he said.
今度クルスに何かあったらただじゃおかない。そう言ったよな。忘れたとは言わせねえぞ。
Huh. Well, we never did anything to Kirisu. I'm gonna keep on making that sort of joke. He had said that. But...
川原君には関係ないだろ
う。なんだと?
これは僕たち家族の問題だ。君には関係...
Watch him be like, well, I am family, you son of a bitch. Or some weird cringy ass shit. His fist hit my face several times before I could finish my sentence.
ふざけんな!
I was terrified when I saw how bloodshot his eyes were.
何が家族だ? 関係ない。俺に言わせりゃ関係ないのはお前の方だ!
No, this problem actually does have to do with Takuru. This time he kicked me and I fell backward into a puddle of water. So he's just gonna... he's just gonna beat us up, I guess. Gonna simply murder us because he's not involved in Kirisu's life, but we are, and something happened, and now we're to blame. Another sharp kick landed as I tried to stagger back to my feet. It hit me in the solar plexus and knocked all the air out of my lungs.
お前なんかより、お前よりも、俺の方がクリスとの時間はずっと長いんだよ。それを後から来て、気を引くような真似しやがって。
I mean, technically that is true. I mean, either way, how you look at it. But, yeah.
お前みたいなやつと家族笑わせんな。クリスはな、同情でしょうがなしにお前のことを弟だって言ってただけなんだよ。
That's actually not what she said, but okay.
それを調子に乗りやがって。何か 何が関係ないだ。
His fist cut through the air and smashed into my cheek. I smelled something strange in the back of my nose as the flesh from my cheek dug into my face. Thank you for kicking our ass, I guess. Damn it. I didn't care if he was hitting me. No. I was the cause of the return of the new generation madness, and I'd hurt Kirisu, Minamisawa, in a fit of rage. Maybe I deserved it. But it pissed me off that I couldn't fight back.
何がおかしい。
別にただ
ただなんだよ。言えよ。
God, dude, don't hit us more. We won't be able to speak if you keep hitting us. And this guy is completely stupid, I'm sorry to say. Just like I thought the slightest provocation set him off. It was just a sign of his stupidity. He is pretty stupid, I'm sorry to say.
ほらどうした。言わないならまた。
わかった。そこまで聞きたいなら教えてやるよ。
Each time I spoke, I tasted something metallic in my mouth, but I kept speaking anyway.
クルスはな、お前のことなんてなんとも思っちゃいない。
何？
Bro, that's gonna result in us getting hurt even more.
むしろ嫌いなんじゃないか。
なんだよそれ。クルスがそう言ってたのか？
いや、でもバカ。
だよそれ。
I think we're getting hit regardless of whatever happens.
根拠もないくせに嘘ばっか言いやがって仕返しのつもりかよ。
Could, like, someone come to the rescue? Because obviously we're gonna die at this rate, and Takuru's not gonna fight back. My chest, my sides, my back.
根拠ならある。
ああ、だったら言ってみろよ。
It must have bothered him because once I started to talk, he stopped hitting me. He was a small man.
お前は南沢千里のこと嫌ってただろ。
南沢？当たり前だろ。あんな気持ち悪いやつ誰だって嫌がる。それがどうした？
それも全部あいつには分かってた。そんなやつにあいつが心を許すわけないだろう。お情けで付き合ってもらってたのはお前の方だよ。
てめえ！
Actually, wait, Takuru just made a good point.
誰がお情けだよ！適当なこと言いやがって！
Like, think about it, you know, why would Senri posing as Kirisu continue to affiliate with the people that, you know, talk shit behind her back, you know, when she was posing as, you know, herself, Senri? Well, especially in Kawahara's case, you know, maybe take pity upon him. He's just so love-struck by Kirisu that he can't even, you know, think straight. I don't even know what that said. It felt like burning irons were being pressed all over my body. What was said? At this point, I was basically a punching bag. Ah, nice. My sense of balance was thrown off, and the pain kept me from thinking. Everything stopped seeming real. I started losing the ability to think clearly. Maybe it would be better if I just... Kawahara spat on my cheek, but the rain washed it away. Nice try, bitch. Why are you trying to fucking get him to hurt you more? Like, come on. Like, I get it. You feel like you're to blame for all this shit. And you were doing the same shit back in the common route, but this is just... It's a little too much, man. I forced myself to stand through the pain.
こいつまだ。
どうした？僕はまだ生きてる。 そう、どうせなら殺してくれよ。
何？
ほら、僕が憎いんだろ。ムカつくんだろ。だったら殺せばいいじゃないか。ほら、僕は抵抗なんてしない。
That's right. This was all my fault. What happened with Serica? What happened with the murders?
殺せよ。ほら、やってみろよ。
And what happened with Kirisu? So,
殺してくれよ。
なんなんだよ、いきなり。どうかしてるよ、お前。
says the one who just beat the shit out of us. A strange nervous smile formed on his face as I approached him, and then he turned around and fled into the pouring rain. After I couldn't see him anymore, I fell to my knees on the ground. I think we'll die anyways at this rate. I spit up a hunk of blood, and then let the rain fall down from the dull gray sky.
どうして。
Why didn't he kill me? I never should have been alive at all. Then this never would have happened. Yui and Dad would still be alive. Serica wouldn't have hurt anyone. And she would have been able to start her new life as Kirisu Nono. If it weren't for me...
わかった。あなたのその望み、叶えてあげる。
I felt something freezing cold and sharp at my neck. I didn't have to turn around to see who it was.
尾上。
タク。
Don't say that anymore. Onoe was behind me, smiling happily as she put the blade up to my neck.
やっと言ってくれたね。タクの本当の望み。
尾上。いつからそこに。
ずっといたよ。私はタクと一緒だもん。子供の頃からそうだったでしょ。いつだってずっと一緒。ずーっとタクのそばにいて、タクがどうしてほしいのかを知る。そのためだけに生まれてきたんだもん。
Oh, so that was it. I finally understood who Onoe Serica really was. She was truly a part of me.
尾上。
At least we could, piece that together.
僕は。
大丈夫だよ。何も言わなくても、私には分かってる。
Slowly, her blade moved just an inch. I could feel a warm drop of liquid running down my neck.
それじゃあ、行くね。
And this is for the best. This is... I slowly closed my eyes.
さよなら、タク。
The air shook a little. And there was the sound of something cutting through it. Uh-oh. That's not the sound of cutting through a neck. Without even feeling pain, Cold drops of rain were hitting my neck.
お前。
I opened my eyes and saw... Oh my god, holy shit. Well, okay. Well, not exactly who I was expecting, but at the same time, who I was expecting, maybe?
Minamisawa. Senri.
She shed her skin. No. It was...
タク。
ノノ。
クルスノノ。いや、南沢千里。
お前どうして。それにその姿を。
もう偽るのはやめたの。これが私の南沢千里の本当の姿。もしもこれで全てを失うことになったとしても、もう嘘はつきたくないから。家族に隠し事はしたくないから。
Hell yeah, no regrets.
だからたとえこの姿であなたに嫌われたとしても、私は本当の私でいることに決めたの。
Actually, that makes me appreciate you even more. Nono stood in front of me with the D sword in her hand.
南沢千里、今さら何をしに来た？
あなたなら聞かなくても分かってるんでしょ。あなたの手からタクルを守りによ。
その醜く無様な姿で？
そうよ。これが偽らざる私の姿だから。
そうか、面白い。でも
What I find interesting is that she has a school uniform that properly fits her. Like, how does that work?
邪魔をするな。お前の出番はもう終わった。
Nono flinched back in fear as the blade sliced through the raindrops. Her expression twisted in pain.
お前
Well, I guess it's the same sort of expression that we're used to seeing when she fights. It was only then that I saw the blood and cut on her shoulder.
まだその名前で呼んでくれるんだ。
そんなことより肩。
さっきちょっとかすっちゃったみたい。でもこのくらい。
何が？
You know, what I'm crossing my fingers on is a somewhat happy ending out of this, in that, you know, Senri is able to, like, utilize everything that she learned from, you know, posing as Kirisu to be, you know, more lively. You know, don't worry about what other people think, you know, live the life you want to live, even if, you know, that has changed to being a lot more open. But first, let's try to survive the fight.
邪魔をするなと言っている。この偽物が。
Low-key, I am pulling for Senri here, not Serika. I definitely would like, you know, there to be some sort of good ending out of this, and Serika seems to be the antagonist here.
私はもうクルスノの偽物なんかじゃない。私は南沢千里。本物の南沢千里よ。
It was a type of resolve. Yeah, I was actually gonna say the same shit. You can call it determination. The determination to abandon the life she'd lived for years and be reborn anew.
そんなことどっちだっていい。私は宮代拓の望みを叶えてあげるだけ。だからお前は邪魔なんだよ。
拓の望み。
そうだ、宮代拓は自分なんていなければいいと思った。消してくれと思った。だから私がその望みを叶えてやる。なぜならそれが私、尾上セリカの存在する理由だから。だからそこをどけ。
そんなのダメよ。私が許さない。
I wonder if it's the same voice actor for both Senri and Kirisu, just maybe like a different pitch, kind of like how Serika does her two different tones. Serika's sword was designed to attack, but Nono's D-sword was heavy, and as hurt as she was, it seemed hard for her to use. Nono wasn't Nono anymore anyway. She was Minamisawa Senri. She was feeling the pain from all the terrible experiments she'd suffered over the years. Serika's attack slowly started to push Nono back.
邪魔をするな。
I like this scene, by the way.
タクルは私の弟よ。あなたに殺させなんかしない。
No, no.
そんなのお前こそ家族を壊した元凶だろうが。
それでも私は
Hey, at least she's not, denying that.
どけ
The blade shook like thunder. A swirl of wind appeared around Serika's feet.
どけって言ってるんだよ。
The fierce blow knocked Nona to her knees. Her tiny, thin neck was defenseless and exposed.
死ねよお前。
A cold voice and a white flash.
おのえ
I pointed the weapon I pulled from the sea of chaos, feeling its heft in my hand. Wait, we can still do any? Like,
タク
oh, don't pull that shit. Don't pull that shit on me. So Takuru can still, move and live?
死にたいって言ったのはタクだよ。
ああ言った
Ha, did, not do.
じゃあどうしてその女をかばうの？そいつはタクを騙してたんだよ。
ああそうだな
Well, so did Serika.
でも
Maybe it wouldn't be that easy to forgive her for lying to me. But everything she'd done for us, she'd done as a part of our family. Not as Kirisu Nono or Minamisawa Senri. She'd given us her love, and it was real love. It probably didn't matter what her name was, or where she was born, or what she looked like. What I really wanted, it was to once more
そうか。それが宮代拓の望みだったら。
Serika looked up and smiled and then readied her weapon.
その望みごと葬ってやる。
Serika's scary. The D-sword became a hurricane of light and she attacked me.
タクル
大丈夫
Yeah, we got like a bunch of blood, beaten out of us and everything by Kawahara, but we're totally doing fine here in this fight. It was one thing to say it, but I was still feeling the pain from where Kawahara hit me. I was just knocking back Serika's attacks, or just knocking back Serika's attacks was enough to make my body scream, excuse me.
どうした。偉そうなこと言ってその程度か。
Shining beams collided, scattering rainbows everywhere. Sword and sword collided like two magnets drawn to each other. My lungs hurt like they were on fire. Serika found a hole in my defense, and my defenses, and attacked. Her D-sword knocked mine upward and threw me off balance. Bro, this is some, like, Sonic music right here. The glowing weapon went straight for my exposed neck. I put my hand up to protect my throat. Did we just lose our hand? The inside of my left wrist was torn open. Oh no. I felt the heat before I felt the pain. The warm rain fell down and spread the blood into a puddle at my feet. I bit down on my teeth hard to keep from passing out, then tried to judge the distance between us again.
どうした。やられる一方だぞ。そんなことで。
And the fierce blade struck again. I just barely managed to move out of the way in time. At this rate, she would kill me. Like Serika said, if I didn't attack her, this was only going to end one way. But the pain, exhaustion, rain, and sweat were already blurring my vision. My strength was at its limits. If I could just land one hit. One hit.
どうタク、楽しい？楽しいよね。私はすっごく楽しい。
I've grown to hate that voice. Just with how it mocks us. I blocked her attack with the blade of my sword and threw off her balance just a little. The air of self-satisfaction vanished from her face and was replaced by fear. I didn't miss my chance. Let's kill her. What I wanted was... It wasn't destruction. It was a future with Minamisawa. That's right. That was my choice. I put all my strength and all my wishes into a single swing of the blade. Oh, don't do that. Serika raised her weapon right in front of me. A bluff? Was it a trap? No. If she countered now, there was no way I could... I saw her smile. And then... What? She fell to the ground? I could still feel the sensation in my hands. Wait. Did we kill her? Red blood spread silently on the asphalt. Wait, when did we do this? Serika knew exactly what I was going to do. If she wanted to kill me, she could have. So why? Did she kill herself? Not necessarily.
私はタクが望む世界を見せてあげたい。それだけ。
So you said at the end of every route?
私はタクが望んで生まれた存在。でも今タクがそばにいてほしいのは私じゃない。
Serika smiled at her faintly.
タクのことよろしくね。セリカ。
ごめん、尾上。僕のせいでこんな。ね
え、タク。一つだけお願い。
僕にできることなら。
Oh, don't say that.
私を終わらせて。それができるのはタクだけだから。
Let's pull a near automata and strangle her.
タクル。
Just like she asked, I took the D-sword and pointed it at her body. But...
どうしたの？
ダメだ。できない。僕にはそんなこと。
Oh, but I'm sure Senri can.
しょうがないな、タクは。
She smiled happily and grabbed the blade with a shaking hand. And then...
バイバイ、タク。
The D-sword went through her body without a sound.
おの。
We win! Well, anyways, the girl I'd created, the girl who was always there for me, was surrounded by a cocoon of light, which vanished into thin air. Well, I mean, she wasn't real, so... The veil of rain that had covered the sky had vanished, leaving behind a stench on the asphalt. I looked up at the sky and saw a rainbow in the heavens. I could hear the crunching sound of footsteps on gravel going further into the distance.
ノノ
見ないで
I was about to turn back, but stopped when I heard the rejection in her voice.
ごめんね、タクル。もう二度とあなたの前に姿を現したりしないから。
Wait, then what was the point of that?
でもね、これだけは信じてほしいの。確かに私は嘘をついていたけれど、あなたたちのことを大切な家族だって思ってた。お願いよ。信じてくれる？
ノノ
私はもうクルス・ノノじゃない。
The footsteps started again. Nono was leaving. We would never see her again.
今までありがとう。さようなら。
Don't let her leave. Come on, dude, come on. I turned around and saw a small girl. She was facing away from me. It was the first time I'd seen her, but I'd seen her 1,000 times before. You right.
ノノ
I ran after her and grabbed her hand and forced her to look at me.
いや、やめて。
Honestly, me personally, you know, me being a weeb and all, I have no problem with her design or how she looks, but
どうして
then again,
だって私はののちゃんじゃない。こんな醜い顔タクルには見せたくない。
I held her close as she squirmed and tried to look away.
ごめん僕
Y'all should know that I'm a sucker for girls that have half their face covered.
僕は間違ってた。お前がクルスノノか南沢千里かなんて関係なかった。どうだってよかったんだ。
Senri looked up at me in surprise, and for the first time I could see her face. It was different than Nono's. It didn't have her bright charm or her bold features, but
だってお前が僕の家族で僕にとって大事な人だってことには何も変わりはないんだから。
I can't wait to explain this to Yuto.
タク
Like, explaining it to Uki should be, you know, easy enough, but explaining it to literally everyone else is going to be a lot of fun. Tears fell from Senri's eyes. Memories came flooding back to me.
そうだよ。いつも僕を見てくれていたのはこの瞳だったんだ。動けない僕を献身的に看病してくれたのも、辛く苦しいリハビリに時には励まし、時には叱咤してくれたのも、僕のしでかすバカなことに本気で怒って本気で笑って、そして本気で泣いてくれたのも、いつだってそばで見守ってくれていたのはこの瞳だ。いつだって差し伸べてくれたのはこの小さな手だった。全部お前だった。確かにお前は嘘をついてた。クルス・ノノじゃなかったかもしれないけど、僕を絶望の闇から救ってくれたのは本物のクルス・ノノじゃない。南沢千里、お前だった。
That was the truth. So,
私を許してくれるの？
we just hella beat her up right now. Like, yeah, I'll forgive you. Tomorrow. I nodded silently.
クルス・ノノじゃなくても？
言っただろ。お前が僕の恩人で家族だってことは変わらない。
No, kith. I mean, what? I held her tight, so that she would never go anywhere again. And I...
Senri.
said her name. Her real name.
何
おかえり。
Ooh. Hitting her with a welcome home.
ただいま
Damn. Are we in the direction of like a somewhat good ending? Kinda? Maybe? Like, relatively? Humans are temporal beings. I think it was a philosopher named, I'm gonna screw this one up, Heidegger, who said that. Time moves from the past to the future, and time is what rules over human lives. In that process, the past is lost and new things are born. The return of the new generation madness gradually began to fade from people's memories. The girl named Onoe Sarika, who was a person of interest in the case, vanished, and without any firm evidence, it was impossible to know if she ever existed at all. The case came to an end without a satisfactory answer. And then... I don't like how that cut off there. Oh, okay. You know what? I was getting worried there. The four of us still lived in that cheap apartment.
ほら言うと早く準備しないと遅れるわよ。ちょっと待ってよ。この番組終わったらやるから。そうやってテレビばっかり見て、ウキちゃんはもう準備できてるって。行ってきます。
So is she still posing as a...
待って、僕も行くよ。
Is she still posing as cute? Oh, nope, she is
行っ
not.
てらっしゃい。
She is not.
行ってきます。
Mornings were always busy like this.
たく、あんまりうるさくしてると。
The pounding on the wall was another thing we'd gotten used to.
また後でうるさく言われるな。
しょうがないわね。また夜にクッキーでも焼いてお裾分けしとくわ。
頼むよ。どうした？
まさかこんな日が来るとは思ってなかったな。
Kirisu Nono becoming Minamisawa Senri had created no end of problems. Of course, Yuto and Yamazoe weren't sure how to handle it at all. Her name and appearance were totally different. I knew it would be impossible for them to think of her as the same person. I mean, Uki's a gigalomaniac. I would think it'd be a little easier on her, which is why I was saying that earlier. Yuto and, everyone else being the problematic ones. But inside, she was the same. She'd gone back to looking like Minamisawa Senri, sure. But she was still Kirisu Nono, the cheerful, helpful girl who'd kept the household running. After a few days of living with her, both of them got used to the idea that Minamisawa Senri was their sister. Of course, they were family. We couldn't exactly tell everyone else that Kirisu Nono was actually another girl all along. So what was stated? So it ended up that Kirisu went to live with some very distant relatives just as a new transfer student named Minamisawa Senri came to the school, excuse me. That works. Why not? It was hard for her to rebuild her relationships with her old pals from the ground up, but she'd pulled it off. Of course, a few of them...
お、チャオス、宮代先輩、クルス。有村さん。じゃなかった。南沢先輩。
お前な、いい加減慣れてくれよ。
んなこと言ったって、そう簡単に行くもんじゃないですよ。ねえ、花。
She is small in comparison, by the way, to like everyone. We told the people who knew about the case the real story.
つうかさ、3年なんだし、今さら無理して学校来なくてもよかったんじゃねえの？
僕もそう言ったんだけどな。
I guess Ito is alive and well.
あのままみんなと別れてしまうのは寂しいじゃない？
そんなもんかね。
She is holy shit. Yeah, Actually, like, just looking at her arms, just like, she is extremely thin and small compared to like everybody else. I never would have taken a risk like that just to see the people in my class. But maybe that was just a sign of how she changed.
で、今日の部活は？
悪い。今日はちょっと行くところがあって。
行くところ？
ええ。なに先輩方2人で？もしかして無夫婦な感じ？違うわよ。そういうんじゃなくて。分かってますよ。まあたとえそうだとしても一つ屋根の下に暮らしてるんだから今更って感じだし。
たく。
それよりタクル、そろそろ。
ああ、そうだな。
We said goodbye to everyone and left. I take it they're gonna go pay their respects to the real Kirisu. The sky was the same color it had been after the rain stopped on that day. We headed for...
Nono-chan.
It was a grave far away from Shibuya in the suburbs. The body that had been originally buried as Minamisawa Senri had now been quietly interned in the Kirisu family grave as Kirisu Nono. Kirisu Nono. She was a girl I knew well, but one I'd never actually met. Senri put her hands together in a silent prayer as she faced the cold grave. There was so much that she hadn't been able to say, so much that she wanted to say. Kirisu Nono and Minamisawa Senri were finally talking to each other as different people now. The sin of using her. The sin of burying her. The sin of lying. The sin of burning her, by the way. Let's not remember that. The guilt from those sins would never go away. But still.
ごめんね、ののちゃん。これからたくさん辛いこと、悲しいこともあるかもしれないけど、それでも私はもう逃げたりなんてせず、立ち向かっていこうと思う。南沢千里として、それが私にできるあなたへの手向けだと思うから。
The smoke from the incense rose toward the sky, blown about by the wind. And in the wind...
頑張って、千里ちゃん。
Thank you, Kirisu's ghost. I thought I heard a voice. Everything that had happened so far was a mix of plots, misunderstandings, miscommunications, and successful efforts. So whatever, or whenever I wanted to cry at what I'd become...
タクル。ん？これからも私のこと、見守ってくれる？
Well, yeah, we're taller than you, so should be no problem. I guess she's not totally smaller, but I don't know. Maybe it's just the sprite. I have no idea. I take the hand of the girl next to me, feel her warmth, and walk with her together, just like she'd done for me, for the sake of tomorrow and for the future. Are we actually getting a relatively good ending? Finally? I still don't like the creepy credits.
ねえ、タク。
No.
楽しかった？
Don't have that come up. That makes me think this was all a lie. Okay, so we got 2 achievements here. We got okay, it's literally called okay, and then heads or tails. Real Sky End. A hidden story has been unlocked. Ooh. I wonder what that glowing item is on the right side of my screen. Oh, wait. There's another option here on the menu too. I didn't even notice that. What the fuck? Oh. Okay, so if you don't highlight over it, it kind of just dies. Okay, alright, cool. Alrighty, gang. Let's oh, there it is. Real Sky End. It'd be cool if there was like some wild effect or something where if like you hovered over it would just like change the image to Senri. That'd be pretty tight. But I mean, we've known that character as Kirisu for like the majority of the story, so I guess it makes sense to actually have Kirisu up there instead of Senri. Not to say that we didn't know Senri like at all during the story. We thought of her as like the antagonist for a point. That was wild. But she was instead just like a pawn, or at least her identity was a pawn. This was a wild ass story. And before I get to like actually, you know, talking about my feelings and everything here, we have one thing that we need to do. We need to get that negative delusion that was right here. I think this is the last negative delusion, and delusion in general, that we need to get here.
Arigato.
So if you guys don't remember, this is when they were, you know, out and about, family and all that, before we discovered any sort of like truth here. You know, things got bad. And we got a very, oh, there it is. A negative person and gigalomaniac. We got 2 achievements there. So that makes me believe that we got all the negatives and all the delusions in general. So let's experience this final delusion together. Well, No looked happy, so yeah, the positive delusion was a very horny ice cream delusion.
Oi! Warrior Neja, doko mite aruiton ja?
What the fuck is happening? Oh no. Nono hadn't been looking, and she'd walked right into a Japanese gangster. Why couldn't we have just called him a normal gangster?
すんで済んだら警察はいらんのんじゃ。見てみや。わしの一丁らが汚れてしもうたじゃろが。どうしてくれるんや。
I don't think you'd have to call the police on that. I could see an ice cream stain on what was undoubtedly an expensive jacket.
ごめんなさい。クリーニング代は出させてもらいますから。
クリーニング代？姉ちゃん、知らんのんか。ほいじゃったら教えてやるけどの。こりゃアルマーネのオーダーメイドっちゅうやつじゃ。作るのに何百万もかかっとるんじゃ。こう汚れてしもうちゃ。クリーニング代みとうなはした金もろたところでどうしようもないわ。
His accent was so thick that it was hard to tell what he was saying. I mean, I can't tell. I'm just getting reminded of Yakuza. But evidently, it wasn't going to be enough to pay for the cleaning cost.
Takuru!
Nono looked at me pleadingly. The scary man's eyes followed her gaze to look at me as well. I could see that there were scars on his face. He must have been really strong.
兄ちゃん、わしに何か言いたいんか。じゃったら聞いちゃるで。
いや、その。
タクル兄ちゃん、のの姉ちゃんを助けて。タクルさ
ん。その。
Yeah, let's just get the police involved, like he first suggested. Why not?
ごめんなさい。
I staggered back and fell on my butt. There was no way a normal kid like me could take on someone like this.
兄ちゃんも文句がないようじゃけ。たちまち行こうかの。
Uh-oh, I don't like where this is going.
行くってどこへ？
決まっとろうが。わしが働き口を紹介しちゃるけ。そこで働いて、このスーツの代金払うんよ。
I don't like where this is going.
そんな、無理です。それに私には弟たちが。
わかった。おいじゃ、そこなガキ二人も一緒じゃ。
私たちも。
け、はよ来いや。
What the fuck was that?
No!
What? Everyone was gone before I could stand up. I was powerless. Afterward, I didn't have the energy to do anything. Time passed with nothing happening. How long had it been since then? What the fuck?
どうだ？今日はなんかいいもんあったか？
不景気でダメだよ。
What the fuck, dude?
そっちは
こっちもダメだ。腹減ったな。
As we stood there holding our bellies in hunger, a big black car pulled up.
なんだこの車は。
The tinted windows rolled down, making a pleasant mechanical noise. Inside, I could see a woman in garish makeup, with an elegant air about her.
どうしたんです、姉さん。こんなところで。
いいから黙ってな。
Oh my god.
そこのあんた。
The woman looked at me.
はい、なんでしょう。
これで美味しいものでもお食べ。
She tossed a thick brown envelope out the window, and it landed on the ground.
出しな。
The window rolled up again, and the car drove away. What the fuck is this
お
delusion?
いタク見ろ。こりゃ金だ。大金だぞ。今の人は一体。
But I knew. That was my long-lost stepsister, Kirisu Nono. Okay? Of course, that only ever happened in old movies. It was stupid to think about. It was better than the other delusion.
結局、なんだかんだでお金使っちゃったな。
Alright, well, I think we're good there. Back to the title menu. Alrighty, so I guess we're good with all the delusions. We now have the true ending unlocked for us. We're good to go on that. So to talk about my feelings for everything that happened here, it was quite the reveal. It was quite the mindfuck, really. I liked this route more than the other routes that we've had to go down here after the common route, the Oversky End, if you will. I think that it related most to the main plot, and it gave us a really good like backstory and understanding as to who Kirisu really was, because she did have so much of a cloud of mystery, or like a clouded background, if you will, behind her, and I never really even thought about it during my playthrough. I really didn't. There were a lot of things that didn't make a lot of sense to me. You know, how she was being so hypocritical and all that about, you know, lying, keeping secrets and all that, when in reality she was keeping such a huge secret. But I can kind of understand it at the same time. I can understand Takuru's frustrations, and I can also understand Senri's reasonings for what she did, and I think I talked about that a little bit in the last episode. I can totally get that. And it was interesting, you know, thinking about it now, everything that we've been told, everything that we thought was real, but ended up just being kind of, you know, convoluted and not so real. Like whenever, I think it was when we were going to the hospital for the second time with, this time it was with Serika and Ito for that investigation, I think coming into chapter 5 or 6 or whatever. We could see Kirisu, she pulled out a phone and it said Senri's name on it. And that confused me a lot, but after playing through this, that makes a little bit more sense. As well as when Kirisu told us that, or when she came to the realization that Takuru, whenever he went to the basement as a kid with Serika, quote unquote, to go figure out this rumor, this Amy rumor, how is it that Kirisu was told by Senri that she only saw one kid there and not two? So being able to now understand that, oh, this was Senri all along who made this realization and everything, that there was only one kid there, and that was Takuru, not Takuru and Serika, that makes a lot more sense. Kirisu was never told anything about, you know, the experiments and all that. I wouldn't have been surprised if she did, but she never actually, you know, went to that extent. But anyways, it was cool to be able to kind of like go back and think about it, think about all the things that were lies, or not full truths, if you will, and kind of piece things together. That was really cool, and I really dug that. I really enjoyed how everything went here, and the reveal was really great. It felt like there was a reveal in every route, or something like that. I mean, In Arimuto's route, we learned about her past. We learned about, you know, how she came to be with her power and all that. And it seemed kind of, you know, simple and straightforward. Her route was probably the most generic, if you will, but it was still very enjoyable. We learned a lot about her, and we also learned that, why am I forgetting her name? Kazuki, sorry. That she's also a gigalomaniac. But I kind of guessed that. I didn't have any proof, but I was kind of making that prediction. It was cool to see that that was indeed a truth. That was a true thing. And then in Kazuki's route, I don't think we got anything out of that other than like understanding what her power was, which is so wild, and we saw how wild that can get, obviously. In Uki's route, we got to see, you know, just how powerful or I guess potent her abilities can be, and how dangerous they can be, and how misleading everything can truly be. Some Twilight Zone shit. So being able to see, you know, her stuff come together, that was interesting. That was a very wild ride of emotions, especially near the end. Especially since I did like a 2.5 hour long recording session. That shit really hurt. And then obviously with the reveal here, I felt like this route had like the biggest impact, and therefore I would say this would be my favorite out of the 4. But all of them really provided something. Whether it's craziness, past or backstories, excuse me, I guess explanations on abilities, or further character development. Either way, I felt like we got something out of each of these, and it was really cool to experience them. What happens next? I have no fucking idea. I felt like these routes were really great to have, and I think how Chaos Child handles this compared to like something like Steins Gate, that's really the only comparison I can make. Basically, you go through these routes, yes, before getting the true ending, but you experience the overarching story, the common route, before exploring these other routes that are a little separate but still have a lot of information and knowledge that you really need to get. So I think Chaos Child's way of going about this is a little different from what I'm used to, but something that I can totally agree with and say that it 100% worked. So definitely a round of applause for Chaos Child. I don't know what is going to happen in the true ending. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's an extension of one of the endings we just got. I don't know if it's an extension or continuation of the common route. Maybe it's something completely different. Like we just start off at a random point in the common route and things kind of diverge, kind of like how everything else did here with all these 4 routes. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of you do know, though. I'm sure a lot of you are like, you know, just itching and waiting for me to be all, you know, surprised and whatnot. And to be honest, I am too. But as I was saying in the beginning of this episode, I kind of had to slow down my recording sessions because I was recording this too much. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get these, at least this video up. And once I have read through some comments, that's sort of what I'm looking for. I like the interaction with viewers. I'm definitely going to immediately jump in after the video has been up for, you know, half a day or so. I'm going to jump into that true route, and I'm going to get going on that. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I do want to get grinding on it. I do want to kind of rush through the rest of this, because as I'm recording these and everything, my semester has started back up, and I need to kind of get this done, because these 1 hour long recording sessions eat up a lot of my time, and staying up in the middle of the night to record these is also very unhealthy. So I kind of want to get this done so I can move on to other things and focus on other things, and obviously focus on my school life a little bit more, which is a little important. So that's why I'm trying to rush through this. But I definitely would like to see comments and all that, hopefully. And if anything that needs to be said or I guess communicated to me or just talked about before I jump into the true ending, that would be lovely. And obviously, if the playthrough's already done and you're watching this, you know, on your own time or whatever, ignore all of this because it doesn't apply to you. But regardless, comments, whether it's comments when I upload the videos or around the time I upload the videos or like way later, I still appreciate reading comments. I still have notifications every day from like older videos, so that's always appreciated. I just like comments. I like reading what you guys say. It makes me feel like I really am making videos for people. I mean, I technically am, but... Well, anyways, I'm rambling at this point, and there's no point in that, but those are my feelings on really just a little bit of Chaos Child, but also the route. That was a really awesome route. I'd say that'd be my number 1 of the 4. And what a mindfuck that all was. If I feel like I'm missing anything from my explanations and all that, I'll probably add it on to the next episode because it is late. My mind isn't fully here, but then again, when is it ever? So we'll see if I have anything else to add in the next one. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. What a ride. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a like. If you'd like to see more, subscribe. We have one more route to do, and then we are done with Chaos Child. I'm a little sad saying that. Like, I really am. I've been really hooked on this shit. I really have. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.